Let's pot on some tomatoes. Hi there, this is Big Spruce Rabbitry, and so far I haven't had the best luck with my tomatoes this year. I've only gotten these 4 seedlings from seed from my main seed starting trays, and then 6 little blue beech tomatoes, which I'll be potting on today, and I'll also be showing you how to start tomatoes from other tomato plants, because I did get this gold nugget tomato from a friend, and I'm going to plant its suckers on to try to make more tomato plants. I hope you enjoy. I've got my blue beech tomatoes that have come up and are looking pretty good, so I will be potting them on today in these small pots, and hopefully they'll grow into big enough plants to be put into my greenhouse. I'm going to take these tomatoes from their starting tray and put them into 4-inch pots. Tomatoes can be planted right up to where the adult leaves start. By planting tomatoes deep like this, you give them a very strong root system. And my 6 blue beech tomatoes have been transplanted. Last week when I tilled up my garden bed, I had a whole bunch of extra raspberry plants. I put those up on an ad on Craigslist and managed to sell them all, one of which though I traded for this tomato start. This is a gold nugget tomato, and I don't have any other gold nugget tomatoes, and I would like to have a whole bunch more. When you transplant a tomato plant, you bury it up to where the plant's starting to produce fruit. That means that the lower leaves you trim off. You can plant these lower leaves and sometimes they'll produce new tomato plants. This is potting on the suckers. And I want to pot on the suckers from this gold nugget tomato and hopefully get some more gold nuggets going. These lower branches on the tomato plant are called suckers, and as the plant gets older, they will take energy away from producing fruit. That doesn't matter at this stage that much, but to make a stronger root system, you bury tomato plants quite deeply so that they can produce roots throughout its stalk. Now, these leaves you normally would just bury, but the leaves can produce new tomato plants if you take them off and plant them. It doesn't always work, but it's worth a try. And there we have a sucker that has been potted on. So I've got 5 suckers planted on. Hopefully these will work, and one very naked and very sad looking tomato plant. This gallon pot will be big enough for the tomato to produce fruit in later this season, so I'm going to get the soil prepared for it, and this will be its forever home, at least once it moves to the greenhouse. First I'm adding rabbit manure. This is a cold manure, so it will not hurt the plant at all and give it lots of nutrients. This is some milk that's gone off, and I'm going to add a little bit of it to the soil too. Tomatoes love milk. Now we're going to put our gold nugget tomato into the pot. We're catching it at the perfect time. It's not root bound, but its roots were just starting to get to the edge of the pot. It might look weird burying a tomato so deep, but it makes the root systems much stronger and you get much healthier plants. Since I am having an off year with my tomatoes, I'm going to start some more from seed here today. It's pretty late in the year. I'll be starting some of these green giant tomatoes, which might grow big enough that we can pickle some. And I'm also going to try to take some seeds directly from store-bought tomatoes that have gone off. This tomato is very much ready for the compost pile, but it should still have some good seeds on the other side, so I'm going to open it up and get those out. And I'm going to plant these seeds. When planting tomato seeds directly from tomatoes, you should ferment them for a couple of days because there's an anti-growth hormone that the tomato plant produces in the gelatinous stuff around the seed. But I have done this a number of times with these store-bought on-the-vine tomatoes and have never needed to ferment them and get pretty good germination rates, so why bother taking the extra step when it works? I put big globs of tomato seeds into each of these pots. Those anti-growth hormones will mean that I get a low germination rate, but it should be high enough from a tomato that was about to go into the compost heap that it's good enough for me. That buried in there. When you plant tomatoes directly from the other tomatoes, you are gambling. You never quite know what you're going to get because you don't know what type of tomato the store-bought tomato was. But in my experience, the on-the-vine tomatoes that are sold at our local market produce really good plants that do really well. So this is a tomato that I got from one of these on-the-vine tomatoes, and it did get a little bit of frost damage when we had a late frost, but the main plant is okay, and I think it will come around to do well. I'm looking forward to seeing how these ones do, and hopefully we'll get a whole lot of tomatoes after a kind of iffy start to the year. I'll get these all moved to the greenhouse. Tomatoes are all in the greenhouse. So at the end of the day, I don't have that many tomato plants this year, but they should all fit in the greenhouse. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and check out our farm store in the description.